Hi plant friends, it is Millie with Millie's Vines. I am back with a new video today. I wanted to do an updated plant tour. My collection has changed significantly in the past year or so, and I have a ton of new cacti I want to show you. So we are going to get into that today. If you are new here, welcome. I am happy to have you here. And if you are not, welcome back. And I think we will go ahead and get started. I will put like a PSA in here. A lot of these cacti are new to me, and I'm not great with the species and the genus. So if you have tips, if you know what a lot of these are called, please feel free to leave them in the comments. I probably will butcher the pronunciation of a lot of these as well, but I tried to do a quick research on everything in my collection. I also did a chaotic plant care day yesterday, so everything should look as good as possible for you guys, but we will go ahead and get into the video. Welcome, MTV Cribs Plant Edition. We are going to get into the biggest plant room in my apartment. There are quite a few things that are different here. I think the first most blatantly obvious thing is this new piece of furniture. I used to have something that was open facing and had a ton of books in it, so this is just kind of a cleaner vibe throughout, which I really appreciate. But we will start with my plants on the little TV stand. This is my Philodendron Micans. Don't mind my messy desk in the back. There we go. So this guy I recently gave a haircut. I think he was like almost down to the ground, and I just cut about a foot off, and you'll notice that now up at the top, he is growing pretty significantly. So all of these new vines have shot out, which is really exciting. It's filling out a lot at the top. It is pretty far away from the window, but this is a southwest exposure, so the light's pretty strong. I think it's working out okay for now. Look how dark this new leaf is. It's gorgeous. So I'll keep an eye on it, but for now, seems to be enjoying the haircut and the space, and I think it looks really nice over here. Looking back, we mounted this TV before I had this piece of furniture, which ended up being a lot longer than what I had previously, so the TV is like not centered, which kind of drove me crazy. But in order to balance that out, I've tried to add more weight to this right side. That is why I have a smaller plant on the left. One thing about me is I'm like very, I don't know, like design forward with my space. So I really want to make sure everything's balanced and cohesive in my eyes. So just kind of a side note there for plant styling. On this corner, we have my only pothos, which is kind of crazy. I only have one in my collection. I've only had one just in general of my 4 years of owning plants. This one is stunning. It is a Epipremnum golden green, I think. I love how the light is hitting her right now. Oh my gosh. She is truly enjoying the space so much. I got her maybe like a year ago, and she wasn't even trailing. And at this point, she's like taking over the space, which I love and appreciate. It's kind of a low-key plant. I like that it's kind of like colorful and not quite variegated, but it's just like a little splash of color that's nice, but it's not too like demanding. So I also have it paired with a like light blue wash pot, and I think it looks so cute. And that's kind of this TV area here. Side note, guys, I'm kind of like out of breath filming. I think I'm like coming down with something. I'm not feeling too hot. So if I seem like I'm out of breath, it's because I am. So just bear with me. But over here we have, I don't even know how to describe this area. I definitely am like terracotta forward over here, but I will talk about this later once we move outside to my cacti tour. But I recently have started working at a new plant shop, which is so exciting. It's called Maricopa Botanicals. It is in Tempe, Arizona. They specialize in handmade pottery, and they just source a lot of like really cool terracotta pots as well. And then they focus on cacti and succulents. But with that being said, this wash pot here, this like Liberty Bell looking pot over here, and this one in the back, I all got from Maricopa Botanicals. They are gorgeous. I changed these out recently, and I think it looks so much more cohesive. And I don't know, the space just looks really elevated with these new pots and I'm loving it. I'm honestly not sure if these plants were in my first plant tour. I don't think they were, but this is, we will start over here. This is my Amedrium medium silver. It is so pretty. When I first got this plant, I thought that it was going to take forever to grow because that is what everybody was complaining about with this plant. And to my surprise, it has actually grown pretty fast. It's actually grown quicker than my El Chaco Red, which I was not expecting. I do have these on like a moss pole situation. Have they rooted yet? No. Am I consistently trying? Yes. But this plant is so pretty. I need to turn up the brightness on here because I feel like it's a little bit dull. There you go. It is so pretty. There is like crazy fenestrations here, venations too as well. I hope the camera picks this up. It is just so detailed, so intricate. These two are the newest leaves that I've gotten and they are so pretty. One thing I will say with this plant is I have to chop it back all the time. Anytime that I see a runner like this guy, for example, usually I chop it. If the inner nodes are too spaced out, I just chop it off. So that plant you got to keep an eye on. But outside of that, 10 out of 10 recommend. It looks so good in this pot. And then I have been going to like Goodwill and local thrift shops to get really cool drip trays. So this is, I'm pretty sure, like an ashtray, but I like it, super cool. Same thing with this guy over here. This is something that I found at Goodwill and it just kind of elevated the plant and looks super cool. But now we will get into my gorgeous El Chaco Red. This is obviously a new leaf. She is very small, but she's still hardening off. I want to try to get a glimpse of the red backs. It's super pretty. It also has not rooted, but it looks really good in this pot. It's just nice, plain terracotta. I am hoping that it sizes up, but I will say I had to chop this one. The first new leaf that I got was really wonky, so I chopped it. There's a chance that like it's definitely going to revert back to being a little bit smaller, but that's okay. She is stunning. I love it. Has been kind of a slow grower, which I wasn't expecting, but that's okay. It happens, and you know, I'm just going to be patient. We have my Synapsis Triviae Moonlight, I believe. She's had better days. I did repot her recently though, so I think she's just taking a second to kind of get used to the space. She kind of looks a little bit thirsty-ish back here too, but that's okay. Nonetheless, she's pushing out a lot of new growth. I think she looks amazing in this wash pot and she just needs some time to adjust, but I think this plant is absolutely stunning. Some of these leaves, like you can see here, they're just, oh, they look like they've been like hand brushed. She did get sunburnt back in the day, so we're kind of recovering from some of that, but she's one of my favorite plants. I've had her for like 3 years. I think I got her at Longwell Gardens in Pennsylvania, and I just love her. This leaf is so big, and yeah, she's just, hopefully she bounces back. We're just giving her time. And then last but not least on this table, we have my Philodendron Tortum, which isn't too crazy and isn't too impressive right now, but that's okay. We're getting there. I think she might have a new growth point right here, but she's just taking her sweet time. I know some people have a lot of success with this. Some people don't at all. Some people think this plant is like just very atrocious. So teach their own. I think it's kind of cool. Love it in this pot, and I'm just waiting for her to kind of do a little bit more for me, but in due time. Here is a overview of the shelf. I don't have too many plants on it. You will notice I've just kind of like trimmed back the plants in my space because it got a little bit overwhelming. So that's just something I'm going through right now. But up top, a lot of you guys will know what this plant is. This is the Philodendron Spirit of Sancti. It is gorgeous. This is the newest leaf. Ideally, she would be like more over here, but she's just like buddied up to this other guy. She is sizing up. This is the newest leaf, second to newest. And we've got one back here and then a bunch of little babies in the back, but I love this plant. I can't wait until she gets like super long and super drapey. I just think that plant is so unique, and I wouldn't say it's a fast grower, but honestly it's not as slow as I assumed it would grow either, so I guess that's okay. And I think this is a new growth point already, so really cool plant. I honestly never thought that I would have that plant, so 10 out of 10 recommend. It's really pretty. It's also just like really dark and kind of gothy. It's really cool. Then here, I love this pot. It's like a concrete type situation. I have a couple air plants on top of here as well. This is a, oh goodness, string of bananas, I think. String of dolphins. I'm not sure. You can see me in the reflection. But this plant used to be like literally 3 feet long. Same thing. I've just given my plants a lot of like significant haircuts. And because of that, we're getting some new shoots, which is super exciting. Please give your plants haircuts. It is really so helpful for them. Nothing too fancy here. Just a string of things and a couple air plants. Here we have a little section for our beloved plant, or not plants, our beloved pets. So I wanted to make sure they were front and center. And then down below we have my Philodendron heteroecium with a propagated cutting of Brazil in here, which is kind of taken over. This plant, when I first got it in California, it literally had 25 leaves. I counted. It was like back in the day when I first started collecting plants, and you know, I was just like so excited, and now it has like, who even knows? You can't even tell how dense this thing is. I just have it like wrapped up and like pushed and tucked in, but it is so pretty. It takes up this whole shelf. It's probably like 4 feet long. I've just never bothered untangling it, and it's super happy there. And then last but not least, it is so sunny. Oh my goodness. Let's see if we can get some better lighting here. So this is my Philodendron Xanadoo. It is, what do I have to say about this plant? I love it. Very easygoing. It's kind of taking over this whole entire corner. I will say, I don't know. I was going to say it isn't sizing up the way that I wanted it to, but this leaf is pretty massive. It's an easy plant. We got some new growth over here. It does well in low lighting, high lighting. It goes through periods of severe drought with me, unfortunately, but it is a great plant. It's really good for like filling the space. I dropped the brightness. Hopefully that helps, but yeah, she's just like happy to be here and really, really bushy. I do need to repot her at some point. I'm not really digging the pot that she's in, but ain't nobody got time for that, so I will get to that a little bit later on, but that is the Philodendron Xanadoo. Here we go with another glass tabletop. Also, moment of silence, this tree is so gigantic and it is blocking all of the light right now, so I really need the maintenance guys to like come in and chop this back a little bit. Gorgeous, gorgeous tree, but it's kind of just becoming a little bit invasive and blocking my entire window. That is okay though. Anyway, we proceed. So one thing that I want to start by showcasing is the pots that I have. I have definitely become like really, really intense about pot and plant pairing, and it's something that I'm finding a lot of enjoyment in. So you will notice a lot of these are super unique. A lot of these are done by local artists, and I think it just adds like such a more detailed touch to the plants that I have. So just wanted to give a quick overview there of the space. We will start over here with this Ripsalace. I think this is a monocantha or something. There's something with the L in between there, but it is a super cool plant, very unique, and I can't wait for this one to start trailing. Like imagine once it's just like a foot hanging off of this, just like draping down to the floor. That is my ultimate goal with this, so I will catch back up with you in 2 years. But very cool plant, happy grower. Kind of seems slow to me, but I'm not sure because it just like grows in very weird ways. But I love this plant. It is very unique. I've kind of wanted to put it outside because I know it does flower, but I haven't gotten to that yet. I also love the pot that it's in. I think that just is such a nice pairing, and clearly it's getting a lot of sun here. Okay, I had to slide this guy over because the lighting is just insane right now, but this is my Synapsis tribii dark form. I think that's why it literally looks black, because it essentially is. I also got this pot at Goodwill for like $2, no kidding. And this is actually kind of a cute story. I have a plant friend that I ended up giving this plant to, and he actually propagated these 2 little leaves back and gave it back to me. So I now have it back in my collection, which is very cool. So nice plant. I can't wait for some new leaves here. It's really hard to film because it's so dark. But I think that pot is a nice pairing yet again. And that tree is just going off in the background. Now we have my Philodendron Pluto, I believe. I'm going to insert a picture of what this plant looks like when the new leaves are coming in, because they start off kind of like a deeper mauve, and it is just so unique. The more mature version of this plant has like giant leaves and they're super wavy. They're really cool. They kind of remind me of a different version of like the jungle buggy. I think it's really pretty, but mainly like when the new leaves come in, and then like especially right now, this is a new leaf and it's like hot pink mauve. It's so cool. I love this plant. I feel like it's popping up now everywhere, but it's a super nice one. You can see kind of like the color differentiation as it hardens out, and it's really, really cool. Again, I love this pot. If I could get the lighting to be just a little bit better, that would be wonderful, but it comes with a drip tray and it's just super unique. Additionally, you will notice I raise a lot of my plants up, so if I could move this guy out of the way, I've got this guy definitely on the highest little peak or like riser there, and then these other 2 elevated, and then everything else around it is kind of flattened out. I think visually that just looks nice and very balanced, but we will move to this guy right here. This is my Philodendron Snowdrift, I believe. I don't know much about this plant. I've only had it for a couple months, but I thought it was really cool, really unique. I will show a picture of what it looks like when it gets a little bit more mature. We do have a new leaf here on the way, so I can't wait to see what that one looks like. I am trying to be mindful of this plant burning or just like growing slow because it kind of lacks chlorophyll. There's a lot of like true white in here, so I don't know. So far so good. Definitely keeping a close eye on it, but when this one gets more mature leaf shapes, it's kind of like whipply and it looks amazing. So TBD on the new leaves here, but so far so good. I'll keep you guys updated. And then in the back we have, again, if you know, you know, Philodendron Melanocarpus. I wanted this plant for such a long time. It's almost as big as my hand, and it's still kind of a baby. I got this for like $35 in New Jersey at Barlow's, which that place is amazing. It's literally a dream. So very excited to have this plant. My goal for this is to get it trailing up here. So eventually I will get a moss pole. I need to do that like yesterday, but we'll get to that. There's a new leaf. It's not looking good. It is not looking good, guys. It's a little crispy, it's a little bent, it's a little contorted. That's okay. We're gonna see what happens there. Last leaf was fine, so I don't know. Probably needs a little bit more humidity. My humidifier is very far away, but whatever. I have it. Super happy to get it in my collection, and I just need to get it on a moss pole as soon as possible. And then over here, where do we want to start? So we'll do this one. This is my Philodendron Painted Lady. This is a tiny little BB, but she's very cute. I have loved this plant for quite a long time. And again, I think this pot is just stunning. It's gorgeous. And I'm just hoping that she gets big for me really, really quick, but it's going to be a while. I think it's a nice pop of color, and it's kind of obvious why they call it Painted Lady, because it just looks hand painted, and the pops of pink, really fun. And yeah, she is a cutie. I just need her to get a lot bigger. And then wrapping up here, this is my small but mighty Philodendron Btii, however you want to say that. Not super impressive again. It's kind of giving my Tortum vibes, but that's okay. She's also a thirsty gal. Like, I have to water this thing all the time. I don't know if that's because of the pot or what, but she's starting to size up. She's starting to look like a Billy. You know, it's fine. I'm trying to do this thing where I get my plants small and I just like, you know, do life with them and watch them mature. It requires a lot of patience and discipline, and it's not always the most fun way to start out. It's very tempting to just get them large and in charge, but here we are. This plant was like 25 bucks, so I mean, now you can get giant specimens of this for the exact same price, but you get the point. I'm just trying to be disciplined and kind of enjoy the journey with these plants. Now, finally, we have the only peperomia in my collection. This is my Peperomia Hope. Kind of like my Ripsalace, I want this to start to trail off and just get like a foot long. I think they are so pretty once they start to hang, and you can see we got a lot going on here. We got a lot of new growth, which I love to see. So hopefully in like 6 months, this thing is like unrecognizable. I love the shape, the silhouette, the texture. It's just like so fun and like whimsical. And also, I love this pot. How many times am I going to say that? But super cool. It's probably getting a little bit too much light here, but hasn't burnt yet, so I'm just gonna keep it going. Here is my big plant corner. So where do we want to start? We will start with my Monstera, which yes, has 3 leaves, but you know what? She is stunning and she's been with me through a lot. I don't know if I shared it on YouTube, but I had this plant repotted for me, and on the way back, I didn't realize that 2 of the leaves were resting on the car window. And when I tell you guys, it burnt to the point where it was crispy black. It was tragic. I cried for like an hour in the bathtub that night. I was so unwell, but she's here. This is the leaf that she gave me after that. So I'm very attached to this plant, and she's gigantic. Now, I will say, because of her size and just like the maturity of her leaves, I probably get a new leaf like every 4 months. I'm not even being dramatic, guys. So it's been about 4 months, and here we go. We have another leaf. So I love her. I appreciate her. I have really put her through a lot, but she's gorgeous. And one day, she's gonna fill up this corner, and then I'm gonna have a really big problem. But above that, I have a giant air plant. This piece was made from a local artist here in, actually I think they live in LA. I will see if I can find their Instagram and I will share it below. I forget to water that thing all the time. It's kind of the thing when you have hanging plants, but super cool. I kind of like it there in the corner. And then this guy, I don't think I've showcased here on my channel, but I mean, what in the heck, guys? Like, this speaks for itself. I don't know if I'm the only one besides like Wild Fern who is obsessed with silver swords. I love them. I found this guy in Sedona at a new plant shop there, and I was like, holy, you know what? I have got to take this home. And my best friend was with me, and yeah, I pretty much made her get this, sit in the back of her car, and we drove back for like over 2 hours with this guy because it is just amazing. So my only thing with this plant is they are thirsty. They're thirsty, and if you don't keep up on the watering, they will drop the bottom leaves. I've owned this plant 3 times now. Every single time I lose a lot of the bottom leaves, so you just have to stay on it. These are separate plants here, so I'm just trying to make it look nice and bushy, but yeah, they're thirsty and they do not want to dry out, so that's my only tip with those, but it is just stunning. It's all I ever wanted in a silver sword, so it's definitely one of my top 5 plants in my collection. Now we have my Philodendron Jungle Buggy. I love this plant. I actually saw Sydney, the plant guy, he was talking about plants that he would not own again, and this was one of them, and I was like, oh my gosh, how dare he? But he has a good point. They just get massive. It's so quick, and they fill up the space, which can be good short term. Long term though, I don't know what I'll do with it. I'll show you guys in a second my Prince of Orange, which is also massive and literally requires its own table, but this one is not far behind her. But like, are you kidding me? This is one of the new leaves, and it's just so pretty. This one's also kind of new. The new growth comes in kind of a unique color. It's stunning. I have 2 plants in here. I got this one in San Diego, and it's just, oh, it's so fun. It looks like a crocodile. I don't know. I love it. I actually prefer this one over the variegated version, or like the spotted. I can't remember what it's called. You guys probably know, but I prefer just a plain green. I don't know why. Also, I love this table that it's on. To the right of this, I have my Dakia Camouflage. I know that I'm not the biggest Dakia fan. They're just kind of temperamental, and I feel like long term, like they don't age well, no offense. But regardless, I'm sorry, the camouflage is just too good for me not to have. So this plant is stunning. Kind of grows slow, but I mean, it doesn't have a ton of chlorophyll, so I guess I don't expect anything like miraculous there growth-wise, but it looks so good in this pot. I got this from Home Goods for like 20 bucks, and it looks so, so good. And then we've got this guy over here. So, you know, I don't know what he's giving, but this is my Philodendron Pastazanum. This is a crawler, and if you have a crawler, I really don't even need to tell you how hard they are to implement into your space and keep in your space and like style in your space. If I actually get up close to this, like what in the world is happening right now? It's growing out of the pot, which is kind of what they do. Ideally, it needs like one of those like trot pots, or I don't know what you call it, because it keeps growing out of everything that I put it in. And to be honest, it only has 2 leaves right now because I was giving it too much light most recently, and then now I just moved it, so I'm hoping it's happier in this space, but I don't know. I don't think I mind it there. I was thinking about putting it right here under this red table, but same thing, she's just like peering out over the corner, like kind of awkwardly. But I do love her. She's got a new leaf on the way. Where is it? Right here. Right here. She's got a new little leaf, so she's not going to be a 2-leaf wonder for long, but I'm just keeping an eye on her. She is really pretty. Her leaves are actually small right now. She used to have much bigger leaves, but I've just been moving her around too much, so I just need to chill out and give her less light because these are crawlers, so they grow on the jungle floor. They really don't want to be blasted with light, and I don't know why I keep trying to force that upon her, but that is the overview of this space here. Wrapping up the living room, these are still the same. These are my 2 kokedama that I have hanging on these terracotta air plant hangers. So this one's probably doubled in size. I'll have to look back at my original plant tour, but this is a Philodendron Imperial Green question mark. Very happy plant. Honestly, looking back, I don't know if this is the best one to be in kokedama because I can imagine these roots are probably just like busting out of here. I have to water this one pretty frequently too, like every 5 days, just because I think there's a lot going on in this little root ball. So it might have to be potted into something regular, and then maybe I'll do something different hanging, but for right now, it's loving life. It gets a ton of light right there, and I do still have my Soltech Highland track light system up here, which I don't know if I really needed that, but come the fall and the winter, I think it really does help a lot in these corners especially. So that is this kokedama. And then we have my Hoya Crimson Queen, I believe, because it's got the outer variegation. This guy has grown a lot since my last plant tour. I actually, looking at this, I wonder if that little pink thing, it's either a new leaf or it potentially could be a bud, which would be very exciting. But this guy has really been loving this spot. Hoyas, I find, are a little bit more realistic to have in kokedama because they don't need water as often. I wouldn't recommend philodendrons. Learn from my mistake, but I'll get a nice close up of the white strands that are shooting out of this, which I know probably isn't good long term because they can't really sustain themselves without the chlorophyll, but they look so cool, just like all white hardened leaves. The pink is super pink. You can also see that the Hoya is starting to trail up that like canvasy material, which is really cool. So I like that it's kind of growing up and down. It has doubled in size since I got it. So really fun plant. Let's send out some good juju energy that this is a bloom, probably just a leaf, but I think that wraps up the living room space. Oh my goodness, I almost forgot. So this is my massive Philodendron Prince of Orange. I mean, dang girl, like that. We got a lot going on here. It's at a point where she for sure needs to be repotted. I can tell because her new leaves are coming in smaller for the first time ever. I think she's cramped in here and she's not loving it, which is fair because she has been in this pot for probably 3 years, if not longer. And like, please look at how big this table is. And she's taking up the whole entire thing. So, wow. I also have her on a lazy Susan and that's just like so much fun. But look at the way she's just like climbing out of this pot. That is insane. I'm really shook by that. And she doesn't even have like a trellis, support, nothing. And she's just over here popping off. So this plant deserves a lot of respect, a lot of spotlight. I forget to water her all the time and she just bounces back, no problem. She's never had pest, knock on wood, and she's just wonderful. She is wonderful, but she does need to be repotted, and I'm making a mental note of that as we speak. I've had this trellis since 2021. Usually I have something climbing up it, but for now we have this Philodendron Yupii is I think how you say this. I am not sure, but it's spelled with a J. The spelling is super weird. I'll put it down below, but I love this plant. I think I initially saw it maybe like year one into me collecting plants and I was like, oh my gosh, what is that? I have to have it. It's so unique. The leaf silhouette is crazy to me and it is just gorgeous. So it looks like it could, I mean, it is climbing. It's just climbing kind of funkily. Funkily, is that a word? I don't know if it's going to be one that does well on a moss pole or if it will even adhere at all, but I am going to try it because I just think that I want to help it size up if possible and just maybe control the way that it's growing because it's a little bit wavy right now. But outside of that, she is gorgeous. I've had her for about 6 months, I want to say, and I've had no issues. So the leaves are also pretty gigantic, and I think she's liking this spot. One thing too that I do kind of throughout my house, I think, I'm not sure if this is a thing, but I place a lot of my plants on mirrors and spots where I really want to reflect light and kind of help the direction that plants grow, especially when you have something like a Soltech light. Sometimes the leaves will grow upwards towards the light, which is fine, but I don't know, to me, if I like have something that reflects light at the bottom, I am telling myself like maybe it will help balance out the leaves and they won't grow like completely parallel to the floor. I don't know. I'm probably overthinking that and it's probably not even a thing, but let me know. Let me know if that's something that you do too. Also, this is a new growth. It does have like little dots on it. I've checked it for pests. I don't see anything. I do know this plant has like crazy floral nectaries. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get it on camera. Yeah, it's not really showing, but I might have to take a peek at that. It looks a little bit suspicious, but for now she is doing great. And then down below, I still have my beloved humidifier. I run this for about 2 to 3 hours a day. Ideally, it is a pain to clean. It's a pain to refill, but outside of that, I love it and it's great for the space. Then we have this big boy over here. I'm not sure if you guys can really tell, but it is like 3 feet tall. It's insane. This is a snake plant. I think it was reclassified from Sansevieria to Dracaena, which I roll there, but she's gorgeous. She's stunning. I'm not technically sure if she's getting enough light. She's definitely not getting much from the Soltech light, so I might move her, but for now I like her in the space. She used to be over here in the corner, actually where my Monstera is, but it just felt cluttered there, so I recently moved her just to kind of showcase her more and free up the corner. So I think she looks good there for now, but it might not be a forever spot. We will see. Welcome to my bathroom. This is an area that I have not shown, but I have a plant in here, which is super exciting, and I am going to butcher this name, but it used to be a Calathea, and then I think it got reclassified as something that starts with a G. Warwechkii, again, super hard name, but we're going to call this Jungle Velvet because that is what its like common nickname is. Look at this, guys. The texture on this plant is insane. It is velvety. It is so soft. And then the back, like no edit on this. The color is just fantastic. Once again, I tried to be intentional with the pot pairing, and I think this color is so nice. This plant has been super easy. I never wanted to own a calathea, but here we are. It's been pretty easy for me. I know some people say calathea to tomato, tomato, but it's been good. It has a lot of humidity in here from me showering and washing my hands. They also do not want a ton of light. So I think this guy over here is technically a west exposure, but it's like frosted. So I've found that it's done really well in this area. They also need filtered water. Do not ever try to do this with unfiltered water because you will get crispy tips. I won't lie to you guys, I've got a couple of those and I've just cut them off, but I've actually done pretty good with this plant and I've had it for maybe like 3-ish months. So I feel pretty confident about it. And again, the backside is just stunning. You might be able to see it a little bit more here. It is just so pretty and it kind of the leaves go up and down as the daylight fades away. So really fun plant, and it's kind of nice to have something in my bathroom. Hi, welcome to my bedroom. First of all, I wanted to shout out that I did get new bedding, which I think is nice. I had like a terracotta situation before and it just ended up being like a lot of burnt orange. So we changed to this pistachio green, I'm going to call it, and I think it looks really good. But this is not necessarily plant related, but my grandma recently passed away and I've made this in her honor. So she was a wonderful, wonderful artist, and this is something she did years and years ago. So I wanted to make this a new focal point for the bedroom. And then these were flowers from her funeral. This took my mom and I forever to do, but we were able to take the flowers from Tennessee and then make this like little shadow box. It was really difficult, but I think she would really like this tribute to her, and I probably will change this to like match the brown here, but for now I really like this area. It's very special to me. Okay, so we have my hanging plant situation here, which I love. These I don't think have changed too much except this guy. So we'll start here. This is a Hoya Crimson Princess, and I actually had this one like growing up in a regular pot, and I had an idea to put it here because everything that I had in the spot was burning, and I just had a thought like middle of the night, like I need to put a Hoya there. That is what I did. It has been so, so happy. It's trailing so much. I feel like Hoyas, once they get big like this, are just so special. The pink going throughout it, it is just wonderful. I have loved this edition and it's perfect for the amount of light here. So had to shout that one out first. We can go over here to this. I can't even describe how bad I wanted this plant. This is actually 2 plants. Secret is out, but I got these new pots, which are super cute. This is a Hoya linearis, and I love this plant. It is so delicate. We have some new leaves coming in right there. If it would stop swinging, it is gorgeous. It's like a velvety, furry plant. It grows really quick. Some people complain about watering these because they are more thirsty than your average Hoya, but so far so good. Probably because the pots are so small, I'm having a pretty easy time with it. But this is probably one of my favorite, excuse me while I struggle, one of my favorite plants in my collection right now. It's gorgeous. It's so unique. It gets great light here. So 10 out of 10, recommend that guy. And then we can move up here. Same plants that I had prior, I believe. This is my Sable Blue. It's actually facing, you can tell this is like the leaves are facing that way because that's where the light comes. So not ideal, but that's okay. You kind of can't avoid it. Super cool plant, blue, silver, grows really quick. I cut this thing all the time and it just keeps sprouting out new vines, which is super exciting. This Synapsis argyrius, I am not kidding you when I say that this was almost like all the way down to the window. I cut literally 2 feet of this plant off one day because I was like, you know what? I'm just going to give it a good haircut and see what happens. And again, it has filled out a lot more at the top. So I would say like every summer, give your plant a haircut and you will really be shocked by the amount of growth that it gives you. that is like my new favorite thing to do. And being a former hairdresser, it's really fun to give plants haircuts. This guy is my Hoya Mathilde. I love this plant. It's got those circular leaves, which is super unique. You will see there are like 4 different buds on here. It has never once bloomed for me, so I am a little bit salty about that. This one probably looks the most, I don't know, the most like it might bloom. The other ones are kind of dried up. I think that's just a thing with this plant. Like it acts like it's going to bloom and then never does. But you know what? I'm waiting. I'm hopeful. We will see what happens there. And then over in the middle, we have my Hoya. Oh, I'm blanking on this name. It starts with a K, Cronii silver, super silver. It's not super silver to me, but it's definitely kind of silver. This guy blooms all the time. Like I'm talking, this has probably bloomed for me like 10 times since I got it. It's insane. It has another bud right here as well. So every single time I turn around, it's blooming. It smells amazing. I can always smell this plant before I actually see the blooms. It smells like jasmine, honeysuckle. It actually smells really good. So I love this plant. It is amazing. And that is all for this hanging area. This is my Hoya table. Not too much has changed here. We just do have some exciting updates. So over in this far corner, we have my Hoya Macrophylla variegata, which I don't know how super variegated it is, but really cool plant. It's given me some big leaves recently, which is very exciting. And even more exciting is I think we might finally have a bloom right here. I don't know, TBD. We will kind of keep an eye on that, but I've had this plant for a super long time. Would love for it to bloom. This guy over here is my Calistophylla, which has bloomed 3 times for me already. So we are lucky. It is in bloom right now. You can see above the current flowers, there's another bud too that just went off as well. So this plant, if you want something unique that also blooms quickly, I would definitely recommend this one. It's so cool. Really an awesome Hoya in my collection, and I have super enjoyed having it. Then we have my Hoya Wyetii variegata, I believe. Cool plant. I've had it for a long time. It's becoming more dense, but not necessarily trailing as fast as I would like for it to, but that is okay. Got a cute new leaf coming in there. It looks really nice when it's sun stressed. I've had this forever, hasn't bloomed, but that's kind of the Hoya game, is it takes 2 or 3 years to bloom. So if you are struggling with that, know that you're not alone. This has taken me a long time to get anything to bloom for me, so I feel the struggle. And then over here, I have my Hoya compacta variegata, which is actually filling in really nicely. It had some bare spots like right in here for some reason, and then all of a sudden it started to cover it and grow leaves, which is awesome. So I've been loving this plant. It grows so slow, but it's so special. A lot of my people or like friends that aren't into plants look at this one and they're like, oh my gosh, what the heck is this? They love it. So great plant. I love it in this wash pot. And over here, we have a Hoya Wyetii. This is just the green form. I honestly kind of favor this one though, because the new leaves come in like dark purple. Really cool. I recently planted that straight into terracotta and it's been doing pretty good so far. So it's nice. This is another one that would be really pretty trailing once it gets a little bit bigger. And then last but not least, this was a wish list Hoya for me. This is the Hoya pollinera. I did take cuttings of this, so these are propagated little offshoots that I worked with. Honestly, very easy to propagate. This is another one that is scary to cut, but it really does help when you cut it. I have like cut it here before, and then next thing I know, I'll have a new shoot growing out. So it doesn't look super great at the top, but I'm going to continue to cut it, plant it back in, and then eventually I will have a very bushy plant. But this is a super thirsty Hoya, kind of like the Linearis. I love it. It's gorgeous. I recently moved it here. I kind of like just having all my Hoyas in one area, and it gets southwestern exposure lighting, which is really good for Hoyas. And then if we pan up right here, this is the last one. This is my I was going to say Hoya Brazil, Philodendron Brazil. It is amazing. This is another one that I just chopped it so significantly that it would have shocked people if I showed it, but it has been doing great, loves haircuts, fills up the space really nicely, and I think it's just clean and nice, and I love it. This is the part that I have been so excited to show you guys. So if you guys go back to my plant tour from last year, this space is literally unrecognizable, which is so exciting for me. I am going to back up before I get carried away. We will start here at the entrance, so living room right over here, patio here, and then let's just pretend that there is a plant in this guy. Super cool hanging little situation. I kind of wanted to put my Ripsalace in here, but I don't know. I live in Arizona and everything just crisps up and dies, but cute hanger. One day I'll put something in here. Got a little bench situation over here, and we will start with my bonsais. So I have a little, why am I blanking on what this is called? Insert name here, windchime. Windchime here, and then my bonsais. So obviously, this one is looking horrible. This is a gardenia. I will insert pictures of how it looked when I first got her, how it looked when she bloomed for me, and then how it looks now. I need all of my bonsai people to help me out, tell me what I'm doing wrong. Can I save this? I have no idea. Like, some of the leaves are okay looking, but they just keep crisping up and just looking horrifically sad. So part of me just wants to cut the whole thing off and just, like, I don't know, chop it here and then see what happens, but I'm sure that's not going to be the best thing. I know she was getting burnt, so I tucked her away in this corner. I'm hoping it helps. And then there's my ficus. This guy, I mean, no matter what I put him through, he survives, he prevails. He's been in the same pot for like 2 years. I'm not a bonsai expert. I am looking to take some classes on bonsai because I have two and they're both super sentimental to me. But ficus at least is doing okay. Gardenia has 100% seen better days. Okay, the lighting here is going to be a struggle for me, but we're going to do the best we can. So I did share earlier, I'm now working at a cacti and succulent shop. We do sell houseplants as well, but they make a lot of their pots by hand, and this is one of them, which is just fantastic. It's one of my favorite pots that they make. Maricopa Botanicals, again in Tempe. I will put their Instagram below so you guys can follow, but I got this little puntii there, and I got this pot there, which is wonderful. I love it so much. I also got actually all of these pots from Maricopa Botanicals, so clearly I already have a problem, but this guy, let me see if I can get some better lighting on him. This is the top of my Spirellus cactus, so it doesn't look great. I essentially, like, there's so many cacti right now that I'm struggling with etiolation on. I think that's how you say it, and it is just the bane of my existence. It's like my cacti are either getting scorched or they're not getting enough light, and I really don't understand how, because I do have a shade cloth up, but still, it is like 6 hours of really intense sun, and I will insert a picture of what my spiral cactus looked like, and it just got to a point where I could tell it wasn't thriving, so yeah, I chopped its head off. This is said head, and it's growing, it's already rooting up, which is good. I'll show you the base of the plant here momentarily. And then, I'm so sorry guys, the lighting is not good, but this is my Peruvian apple cactus. Maybe if I get closer it'll get better. Kind of. So, speaking of etiolation, pretty sure that is the situation here. You can see at the base it's much wider than it is at the top. And honestly, I'm so sick of like chopping my cacti, so I'm probably just gonna leave it. If I can tell that the plant is starting to decline because it's not getting enough nutrients, because it's too skinny at the top, I'll have to do something about it. But at this point, I honestly think it's, I don't know, I think it looks kind of cool. Tell me what you guys think. I'm so sorry the lighting is not working with me right now, but it's kind of like giving like Dr. Seuss character. So we'll see. I'm sure she could be looking better, but honestly, I'm just tired of keeping up with all this etiolation. Hopefully the lighting is okay. It's kind of like 4 p.m. evening time, but we will start here in this corner. So This is a pretty basic Euphoria. I think it's a Rubicans, not Rubicans. It's like a ruby variation. It's kind of losing its coloring. I'm not sure what's going on with that, but it's supposed to be kind of like burgundy-ish. This also, guess what, was a victim of adulation. I cut the top skinny portions off, so hopefully it like branches off or something like that, but it looks good. I'm not too worried about it. And that is that. It's in a really cool like wash brown pot, and it looks amazing. It's got pretty little leaves on it, and I love it. Over to the right, we have yet again another pot from Maricopa Botanicals. I freaking love them. This is my totem pole cactus. Let me see if I can get some better lighting on it. Looks wonderful. Mine is kind of a slow grower. I don't know what's up with that. It's been growing a lot more recently. I think it likes the light that it's getting now that it's not just being like burnt to a crisp. So super cool. I love that guy. It's like similar to the booby cactus, but different. Now, spiral cactus. I definitely wanted to showcase this one. It's looking, how is it looking? Okay, it's looking very sketchy, but I think it's because this shade cloth is like casting a weird shadow on it. But this is what we're working with here. Another pot from you know where, Maricopa Botanicals, and this is kind of what we're working with here. So we chopped it off, put sulfur on the top so it doesn't rot, and as of today, you guys, I am hoping that this camera will show what we're working with. Please focus. Oh, I might have to insert a picture later, but this is new growth. This is a new baby spiral. This, I'm so sorry guys, so hard to film. This is a new baby spiral. Maybe if I get it from a different angle, I can show you a little bit better. I will insert pictures, but long story short, we do have new growth coming in. Finally, we did this a couple weeks ago, and I'm so excited about it. New growth, new growth. I think that's it, but that's good to see. I was pretty worried about it. I don't know what it's going to look like long term, but I mean, I would assume, you know, it's just going to have spiral arms coming out here and coming out here, and that's going to be super unique. But I'm here for it. That was really my only option. Again, top half right over there. So not something that I wanted to have to do, but we're learning from it. We're growing from it. And again, like, can you believe it's not getting enough light? This is west lighting right now. I might end up needing to take the shade cloth down, but if I take it down, everything burns. It is just, ugh, it's the bane of my existence. But back into the plants. Here we have the infamous booby cactus. Gorgeous, magnificent, wonderful. Better view of it here. This guy is just stunning. The lighting is kind of being difficult with me, but he's pretty tall. He's gorgeous. The color is insane. I think, don't quote me on this, guys. Again, I'm not the best with cacti names and genuses yet, but I think that's a Myrtillo geometricans something something, but coloring is amazing. Pretty easy care. They like a lot of sun. They kind of need some water, but not too much. Otherwise, obviously, they rot. So yeah, super cool pot that's in, and I'm so happy to have that plant in my collection. Now, coming over, this is a variegated Btii. I don't know if this is like the starburst variation or what, but it's really cool. I need some good lighting. There we go. I hope the petals come in a little bit thicker. It's okay if not, but she's super cute. Two little variegated Btii. Actually, now that I'm saying this, is this an Btii? I'm not sure, because it looks nothing like this other Btii over here. And the lighting's really dark. But if you guys know in the comments and I'm speaking incorrectly, please feel free to correct me, because I don't want to improperly speak here. But I know it's variegated, that is for sure, and it kind of looks like an Btii, but let me know what you guys think. It's super cute regardless, and I love her. And then here, I am not sure what this is. It looks crazy from this angle. I love the coloring. I think this might have been a victim of overwatering. It's just looking a little bit questionable, but it's not squishy at all. I'm not sure. I think I might have ID'd this on some random website, so I'll put it in what I think it is. If you guys know what it actually is, please comment below. But Obviously, it's super soft, and I love to pet it. It's gorgeous. It's super thick and like bulbous. It's getting pretty tall. I hope it's not overwatered, but it seems to be doing okay. So I don't know. I'm just gonna leave it as is. Then in the back, we have my Euphoria White Ghost, which all in all has been growing really, really well. Let me wrap around and get it from a little bit better of an angle. So all of this is new growth. We've got all these little baby arms, which is so cute. If I can spin this around. There's actually another one there in the back too. So it's been growing really, really good. Every single point on it has new growth, which is really good to see. I will insert a picture of what this used to look like because it actually used to have like 3 separate branches of it, but living in Arizona, it gets so hot that sometimes these plants just rot from the heat. So kind of difficult to have cacti outdoors, but we make it through. I love this. Did I say the name of this? Euphoria White Ghost. I think you guys know. It's amazing. It's stunning. The lighting is kind of hard to catch, but she has been doing good. That is a pretty thirsty plant, I won't lie to you guys, but outside of that, pretty easy. And somebody's like scraping something in the background. I'm so sorry about that, but okay, my camera's getting a little bit hot, but this guy, I do not know the ID of. I think on the nursery pot, it's labeled as a cardon, I'm not sure. It is like real spiky. It is a real spiky boy. I know it probably flowers, which I would love to see. It's one of the oldest cacti in my collection, probably going on 3-ish years now. And he has been a pain to move. I mean, these things are insane, but I love him. I respect him, and he's been doing good. Don't water him too much either, and he's pretty easygoing. What do we want to go to next? We will go to this guy in the back. This is pretty new in my collection. This is I think it's a silver Oregon pipe. I hope the color is picking up on camera. It's like powdery silver white. It is gorgeous. I got this at Barlow's in New Jersey, and when I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to have that thing. Yes, I did bring this on an airplane and through TSA. It was kind of a pain, but my love knows no limit. So this plant is gorgeous. I will say it wasn't as rooted as I was hoping it would be, but that's okay. I'm kind of babying it, trying to give it a little bit more water to encourage root growth, but you have to be careful with that because, if it's too much, it's going to rot. So I'm doing my best with that, but I think this plant flowers too. I'm hoping if it doesn't, again, comment below. I am still learning, but that is like one of my favorite cacti in my collection right now. I just think the color is insane and I love it so much. We can move over now here to, I think this is my only Mammillaria. Gorgeous. I'm not sure of the exact species, but so pretty. This pot I'm obsessed with too that it came in, and Mammillarias typically get those heart ring or like crown shape flowers, and I think this one probably is going to bloom like early spring, late spring. It's so cool. I love like how white it is. I love all the little babies on it, and yeah, it is so pretty. The top rocks on it look amazing, and yeah, 10 out of 10 recommend. I don't water that thing at all, and it's just very, very happy. Over to the left, we have what I want to call a silver torch cactus. I'm honestly not sure. I'm talking about this guy right here. He's got a crazy little head on him right now. He's got a lot of new growth, but love this pot. Love this guy. He's actually kind of blue if the lighting would pick up. I don't know. He's very cool. Kind of like that yellow one over here. He's like kind of sort of soft to the touch, but he's also stabbed me before, so I'm a little bit confused by him, but really cool. I've had this guy for a long time. I got him originally in a 2-inch pot, and he's thriving. He's popping off. He's loving being outside. Over here in the corner, I would love to be able to ID this one. I have tried, guys. I have tried. I would love for one of you to just tell me what it is, because it's one of my favorites. I repotted it recently. It's trailing all the way down. I have a strong intuition that this one flowers as well, which I'd be super excited to see. I wanted to say it was one of those that has like those stinking flower blossoms or blooms. I don't think it is though, and I also don't think it's a Urania. I don't know how to pronounce that, but I think it flowers, and I need to know what it is. So experts out there, please comment down below. But it's so pretty. It looks amazing in the corner. It looks amazing in that pot. And over here, this guy is not doing too well, I don't think. This is another Myrtillo geometricans, I think. Again, adulation probably at the top. It's just not looking as good as it should. I think this is actually called a blue myrtle cactus is the nickname. It's not looking great, but it's not looking bad. It's not dead. That's sketchy. Usually a sign of overwatering, but you know what? She lives. We're just gonna keep her there and proceed about our day. I do love anything blue silver. I think I've already said that though. Here in the center, we have my rainbow hedgehog cactus, which is just so cool. I love this plant so much, and this is a thick boy. Thick boy, and what the heck are those? If that's a flower, I will pass away, because I thought I already missed these blooms, but I don't know what it is. I really don't know what it is, and I'm manifesting a flower. It might not be, but I hope the light is picking up the color of this thing because it's insane. I do actually have the ID tag here for you guys, which I'll also put below, but it's gorgeous. This actually, it's not a mammillaria, but I do think, actually now that I say that, I don't think that it has a ring of flowers, but I do think it flowers pretty prolifically at times, so I'm very excited to see this one bloom. All my cacti in general, I can't wait to see bloom for the ones that do. That's just like the best thing as a cacti collector. And then last but not least, oh my goodness. I hope you guys can see like how truly crazy this thing is. I'm going to try to pronounce the name of this and keep my hand steady for this. This is a Gymnoclasium, I'm already forgetting, something variegata. Mihanovici variegata. I have no idea, but look how pretty she is. Are you kidding me? My camera's kidding me right now with the lack of focus, but she is so gorgeous. I will see if I can find pictures of the flowers here, maybe like better footage of this, because I really don't think that this is doing it justice right now, but she's gorgeous. This is one of the newest plants in my collection, and I'm honestly crying. I'm also going to put a picture up of this right here, because I don't think that my camera's going to focus on that. This little pink thing, I think might be a flower, and I will feel like I have succeeded at life if that flowers. But that is my outdoor table, and I think that completes my collection. Okay, we made it to the end. If you guys made it all the way through, thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoy the plant tours as much as I like filming them and like watching them. It is cool to see the evolution from year to year throughout my collection and other people's collections. So thank you guys so much for being here. If you guys have any particular plant that stood out to you or that you would like to know more about, leave a comment below, and hopefully I can do a video on some more specific plants, plant care, plant tips, anything like that. I am excited since I did share that I am working at a plant shop officially. There will be a lot of new and exciting things to come. So I will do a plant shop tour of Maricopa Botanicals in the coming month or so. So stay tuned for that. But as always, if there is anything, tips, tricks, information, questions, leave them in the comments. We can all kind of learn together as a plant community. Thank you guys so much, and until next time.